Right. There he is.
Oh,
Jeff, what up, baby?
what's good?
Chilling, chilling. I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the world. First, I want to introduce you to my lovely co-host over here, Miss Lacena Jones. She go by Jonesy. We went to college together.
Nice to meet you.
Jonesy, that's Jeff. We used to work together at a call center, and it was bigger than that. Like, me and his brother and his sister-in-law got a really good relationship. We like family type shit, you know what I'm saying? So much love to Jeff. Appreciate Jeff for getting on.
It's
So,
least I can do.
I'll let you go ahead, Jeff, and introduce yourself to my audience and shit, and just give them a little bit about yourself before we get into shit.
All right, yeah. I go by OZ the Wiz. I currently do music from Gary, Indiana, in the Indianapolis area right now. And yeah, I'm trying to see what's to this. What's going on?
Yeah, so today specifically is Wellness Check Wednesday. I like to check in with my people and shit, see what's going on with people across the board. I've been doing this for like 5 months now. It sparked a lot of debates and a lot of discussion. Where did she go? Jonesy, you not in here no more?
Oh, she left?
Her shit froze. I have
Ah,
no idea what happened. But that shit sparked a lot of debate, a lot of good conversation, a lot of people talking about the right things. So it kind of made it to where like people was asking me like about podcasts and shit like that. And yo, you're gonna get on here more often. You're gonna have people on here more often. And it wasn't like I was hesitant to, but a lot of people aren't necessarily in the space all the time to do some shit like this. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people be busy. A lot of people aren't even necessarily like confident, so to say, to get up here and talk about like a lot of the shit that I be wanting to talk about, or like I be wanting to ask people and things like that. So I appreciate you getting on here and shit. I know the other day I was going through Facebook and shit, and I hate to see the messages. Not that I disagree with it, but I hate to see my brothers and sisters with that negative energy where something's bringing them down. Now, I know you as a person, you're not a negative person. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, when I seen something like that, I'm like, yo, got to reach out to bro real quick, you know what I'm saying? Stay doing your craft. And obviously within a couple of minutes, you know what I'm saying, you was back in you. But if you don't mind, you know what I'm saying, what are some of the things that, you know, like reluctantly you have to just push through to want to do this music shit? Talk to me a little bit, bro.
man, if I'm being totally honest, like I could come up with some like I was going through it. You know, I could say the regular, but like I was on Facebook, right? And you know, I
Right.
put videos on there every now and again, you know what I'm saying? So I was on there and I seen one of my friends post a video and like now normally I wouldn't even like speak on this type of time, but like in all honesty, it was trash. I'm like, boy, this shit is ass. I'm like, what the fuck? And
Okay.
then like, but I got to looking at the numbers and I'm
Right.
like, damn. Like he had just released it that day. It had got like 100 shares, 1,000 views and shit. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of made me reflect on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, all right, you know, do I create the type of music people want to listen to? You know what I'm saying? Am I wasting my time? I mean,
Mm.
it made me doubt what I was doing. And
Which
so in that moment of weakness, you know, that's when I went to Facebook. I'm like, I'm done. Some bullshit.
Nah, and I know that you're not the only person, like as a human, you know what I'm saying, that feels that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know for me, like, bro, I took like 2 or 3 years off, like myself from the music shit. And like, even at the time, like when I was releasing music, I'm releasing shit that I wrote, you know what I mean, 2, 3 years ago and had just been sitting on it. So it's like, yo, let's just get this music out. It wasn't even like no new
Yeah.
music, you know? So like the feelings weren't new. So like I'm putting out shit that I felt 2, 3 years ago. I'm like putting shit out like, nah, I'm not even really feeling this shit. You start writing a little bit, and you're like, man, fuck it. You're not getting no money back from it and shit like that. So I know that the discouraging aspect that people see on the outside versus why we're discouraged, the shit's not always the same. Like they think we
Yeah.
discouraged because we're not Jay-Z. They think I'm discouraged because I'm not Eminem or something. I'm like, y'all don't see the shit and understand how much we really put and invest into this, like out of ourselves.
Yeah, and that was half of it. It was like cause it wasn't just like he dropped a video. It was trash. He was like, it was just like you could tell he had never done this shit before, and it was like I had been doing this shit, and it was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like he was getting the good feedback and the bad feedback. I'm like, can y'all motherfuckers do that over here? Without saying that, I ain't say that, because to me, when a man say something like that, it's a negative. It's a negative thought people have about him, like, oh, he complains a lot, or you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I tend to not say shit, but I'm gonna think it. Like, damn, what the fuck? I don't
Right.
give a fuck if y'all say my shit trash or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Say something.
Right. No, totally. And I personally think that that is a toxic trait that men have slowly installed within themselves. Like the idea that if I disagree or if I challenge this at all, or the way that you receive something as well, you know what I'm saying? Your response is always looked at as a complaint, as if you're less, like, oh, you're hating, et cetera, et cetera. It's hard to even communicate in that space with where like constructive criticism is available, where it could be hateful, where it could just be an opinion. Like all that shit, like in the same space, can be used for so many different things. And just today alone is such a negative time. I feel like this is one of the best times to be alive, but we constantly make it a negative thing.
Yeah, that it is a sort of ironic thing about today. Like, it's easier to communicate, but it seems like we communicate less somehow. You know what I mean? Like, the world is so small, but it's still so large to us, just because we got all these metaphoric barriers put up.
Okay.
You can't talk about this. You can't touch on these aspects without hurting these people. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
over here might get hurt in the back. You know what I'm saying? You fuck around, lose your job. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel what you're saying on that. Like, we can't really express ourselves like how we used to. Like, if you go back to like the 1970s and watch like
Okay.
Richard Pryor, them
Okay.
fuckers ain't had no
Yeah,
barriers.
none.
Nah.
None. And then it's like you watch comedy today, you could see it. Like, I didn't see it till I watched that shit from back then. Because if you just watch comedy today, you don't know. It's what you grew up on, or it's what you watching. But I
No,
watched.
no, and not to cut you off, I want to, not, yeah, Miss Jones, she dipped out for a second and came back real quick, you know what I'm saying? Technical difficulties. I wanted to ask you, sis, she's a therapist, clinician, you know what I'm saying? So she actually sits down and hears a lot of the shit that me and you talk about right now. She hears this shit on a daily. Sis, for you, are you receiving a lot of people lately, like job related, you know what I'm saying, trauma, job related, you know what I mean, anxiety and shit like that? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, job related, especially, like he was saying about the cancel culture. People
Mm,
can't communicate what's on their mind, or if they do, they have to measure, okay, am I going to stand behind this, or am I going to get a new job, or am I going to get a new field, or am I going to,
yeah.
the way that we communicate now is on pins and needles. And if you was a piss poor communicator before, it's even worse now. So
Mm,
and I think it's a challenging time to try and communicate, your thoughts and feelings without offending someone, but people are so easily offended. And I'm not talking about like that whole snowflake culture or cupcake culture, like, oh, you guys can't take it. Like, no, people really can't take it.